All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started with our admitted students webinar series. Again, tonight we're going to be talking about university student housing. As we get started, please note that, again, this is a webinar, so we cannot see or hear you, but please utilize the Q&A function of the Zoom webinar to ask any questions you might have. Again, my name is Zach Manning. I work with Orientation Services, and we're so excited to have you here tonight. And we're more excited you're going to be a Red Raider, and hopefully know that this information is also going to be on our website, so you can review it at a later date. If you need to go back and find out any questions that you have, you can find the answers here on the webinar. So now that you're admitted, again, we want to review some registration holds, one of which includes housing. And Natalie Mendoza from University Student Housing is going to cover a lot of information, including residency requirements, how to sign up for housing if you haven't done that already, what fall move-in is going to look like and what to expect there, and moving here, what to bring, what not to bring, how to interact with your roommates and prepare for that relationship, as well as how to get mail when you're living in the residence halls. So again, a registration hold. This is something that will impact your ability to register for classes at Red Raider orientation. So we highly recommend you take care of as many of these as possible prior to your orientation. You can see all of your holds under your registration system when you register for orientation at www.orientation.ttu.edu. Again, if you look at the questionnaire menu on the left-hand side, click on questionnaire. That will show you all your holds. Okay, some of those include academic orientation, academic advising, which is specific to your academic college, your immunization requirements, as well as the Texas Success Initiative that we talked about last week. And tonight we're going to talk about housing. So as we get started, please help me in welcoming Natalie Mendoza from our University Student Housing.
Hi, everybody. My name is Natalie. I'm the section supervisor in our Welcome Center for University Student Housing. So part of my job includes just interacting with a lot of incoming students to Texas Tech, which is super exciting. And thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this evening. We can go ahead and get started and just share some information on housing. So at Texas Tech, we do have a residency requirement. So all transfer students and new incoming students to Texas Tech, including traditional freshmen and transfer students, are required to live on campus for 1 full year. So that includes the fall semester and the spring semester. So once you sign up for housing, you will get your registration hold removed from housing. But if you are not signed up for housing, then you will see that hold on your account, preventing you from registering for classes and other things like that. Most importantly, again, just register for housing. And we'll also talk a little bit more about some options if you're interested in some off-campus housing as well. Awesome. So like I said, off-campus housing. So we do have some students that may qualify to be able to live off campus due to various reasons. The most common exemption application that we get is students that were able to complete 30 or more college credit hours after their high school graduation. Again, very important. It has to be after your high school graduation. We know that it's very, very common for you guys to be able to get dual credit courses and AP credits and things like that, but the 30 hours have to be completed after your high school graduation for us to count that towards that exemption application. Now, we also have other applications if you're a commuter, meaning that you're living in Lubbock or the surrounding area and you're going to be commuting to class, if you're over 21, and some other items. And all of those can be found on our website, housing.ttu.edu. But also very important, please do not sign an off-campus lease unless you have been formally approved to live off campus. We do not want you being stuck having to pay for on-campus housing as well as off-campus housing due to you signing a contract and not meeting that requirement. Awesome. So we'll talk a little bit more about the sign-up process, since 99% of students will be required to live on campus as they're getting to Texas Tech. So part of that sign-up process is going to be getting admitted to the university. So you will have to be fully admitted to Texas Tech. Second step is going to be for you to activate your e-reader account so that you can get your Texas Tech email address, your e-reader username, and set up your password as well. Now, whenever you go to our website, which again is housing.ttu.edu, and click on that housing sign up button, you're going to go through several steps, including listing your emergency contacts and things like that. Then after that, whenever you get to the room selection process, you're going to see what we call our learning communities and other residence halls available to you. But learning communities are going to be communities that you qualify to live in due to your specific major. So we have like the Women of Science and Engineering learning community. We have the Men of Science and Engineering. We have media and communications, pre-law, kinesiology. We have lots of different learning communities for lots of different majors. So whenever you go through that process, you'll probably see some of those just given your major. Now, just important thing to remember also, there's lots of important facts to remember, but if you are under the age of 18, you're going to be required to have a cosigner on your housing contract. So whenever you're going through that process, if you're under 18 and you're getting that minor without guardian or minor, signature required, just make sure that you're checking with your legal guardians and making sure that they are going through their emails and are signing that contract on their behalf. And that way you can also move on with your housing sign-up process. Now, after you pick your room, you've signed your contract, you've done your emergency contacts, you're going to get to that payment page. So university student housing does have a $75 non-refundable application fee. But another thing to note is if you got your application fee waived to Texas Tech, you may also qualify to get it waived for university student housing. So if that's one of you guys, make sure that you reach out to us and we can work with you and see if you qualify as well. Now, on top of that $75, we also have a $400 deposit. So that deposit is not going to go towards your overall housing cost whenever you get to Texas Tech. That's going to be a liability balance. So we're going to hold on to those $400 for you just in case you have any damages, or maybe your chair has gone missing and you can't find it, different things like that. But if you don't have any extensive damages, anything that's going to be, outside of normal wear and tear, then we're going to be giving that $400 deposit back to you. Now, if you are in the honors hall, which is our pod style, or Talkington, Murray, any of our suite styles, or maybe even Gordon, you're also going to see that requirement to pay the additional $250 deposit. So given that, you're getting more space, you're getting more furniture and things like that, we're going to be requiring a little bit more money from you just to make sure that we're able to cover any damages if there is some. So if you're in those residence halls, you'll also see that $250 deposit requirement. And after that, you'll be able to get to your confirmation page and see your roommate information. Awesome. So fall move-in, this is super, super exciting. A great time to get excited about being at Texas Tech. So we'll also talk a little bit more about what that looks like and what steps you might need to complete prior to being able to move in the fall. Perfect. So at Texas Tech, we do move-in time slots. So these are going to be designated 30-minute windows for you to arrive to your residence hall and get checked in. You're going to need your ID to be able to check in, so make sure that you're bringing a valid ID. But during that 30 minutes, we'll see you at the front desk. We'll check your paperwork, check your ID, and make sure that you are who you say you are, so that nobody else is moving to your room. But that's going to be that designated 30-minute window. After that, you're still free to come and go to get your stuff in and out of the room. If you need to go stop at Target or Walmart or get any other stuff that you might have forgotten, you're free to do that throughout the day or the following days. But those 30 minutes for that time slot is going to be for you to check in, get your keys, and all of those good things. Now, also, we do have those 30-minute windows to make sure that we're able to help our large student population here on campus. So we really, really hope that you take in mind your travel time and things like that for you to get to campus. That way we're not, pushing your time slot back and back, because we might ask you to come back at a later time during the day if you're not able to arrive during your selected window. That's so that we can keep everybody safe, make sure that we're not overcrowding our lobbies, making sure that all of our doors are locked and things like that. But just watch out on your Texas Tech email for more move-in information. In June is whenever we're going to start sending out that communication for you to know what exact date you need to log in to pick your move-in time slot. And once you pick it, you're going to be able to change it if your plans change, but just make sure that you're checking that Texas Tech email. Awesome. So preparing to be in Raiderland, again, super, super exciting. So we have a really handy list on our website of what to bring, what not to bring, but also more information on move-in time slots and information if you need to change it. But super important as well is to think about purchasing renter's insurance. It is not a requirement for you to have renter's insurance, but it's super handy in case you drop your laptop on the way to class, or maybe your roommate, they were showing you, a funny dance and they knock over your TV and now it's broken. Super important for you to have that renter's insurance. That way you're not having to cover those things out of your own pocket. So just consider that. We do have a company that we work with. And if you're interested in getting some more information on them, make sure to email housing@ttu.edu and we're happy to send you that. But again, not a requirement. So if you're not very interested, that's totally fine as well. Now, also before move-in, a good refresher is for you to log into your housing application and get back to that confirmation page so that you can review your room, your hall, and also your roommate information. And your roommate information may change from time to time just because some students might cancel or might change their room. So we really recommend for you to check that often, maybe at least just once a month, just so that you can make sure that you still have the same roommate and things like that. If you want to change your dining plan, maybe you've looked over the dining plan selection a little bit more and need to change it, you can also do that from our website or the hospitality services website, but just know that that's still an option for you. And then on our website, we also have some more handy information like the residence hall selection guide, which gives you room dimensions. We're also working on adding 3D tours of our rooms and things like that, where you can actually measure different things or even move the furniture around in the room online. That way you can also see what it may look like if you have a rug and things like that. So we have some really exciting things that we're working on to make that move-in process super, handy and helpful. And also last thing on here, don't forget to purchase your parking pass if you're planning to bring a car to campus. You can't just bring it with you. You do have to have it registered so that it's approved to be in that lot. Some residence halls have limited parking, so make sure that you're doing that as soon as you can. Awesome. And what to bring, again, some other things that you may need to bring with you. Like I mentioned earlier, you're going to need to have a valid ID to be able to check into your hall. So double, triple check that before you leave your house, that you have that valid ID. So that way you can check in at the hall. Bed linens, mattress pad, if you really like your bed to be super, super soft and fluffy, make sure that you're bringing your pillows, pillowcases. We also recommend twin XL size sheets. Most of our halls are going to have twin XL beds, but if you are in Hewlin, Clement, or Wallgates, that's going to be a twin size bed. Now also don't forget to bring your blankets if you like to be super cozy, bathroom linens, towels, washcloths. We don't provide any of that, so make sure that you're bringing your own. Now, in terms of medication, if you know that you're, picking up medication every month or every couple of weeks and things like that, make sure that before you move away from home, you're changing your pharmacy to a local pharmacy here in Lubbock. That way, whenever you move to on-campus housing, your prescriptions are not interrupted or you're not having to wait for any of that medication. Now, in Lubbock, we do have some crazy weather sometimes, so make sure that you're bringing clothes for warm and cool weather. Earlier this week, we were in the 50s, and today it was 92 degrees, so make sure that you're also planning on that. And sometimes when it rains here, it really pours, so make sure that you're bringing an umbrella. That way you can use it whenever you're walking to class. And you can also have a small refrigerator, so a mini fridge, 3.5 cubic feet or less. You can only have one per room, so make sure that you're chatting with your roommate and seeing who's going to bring that mini fridge. Awesome. And of course, we have things that you are not able to bring to campus with you as well. So make sure that you're paying close attention to those things as well. So you're not able to bring alcohol or lava lamps or anything that's going to have a hot plate, just because it is going to be a fire hazard. Toasters, again, they have hot coils, so that's going to cause a fire if something gets in there. So make sure that you're not bringing any of that. No grills, no Instant Pots or air fryers. Those are also fire hazards. We also do not allow any pets. You can have a service animal or emotional support animal if it is approved. So if you're interested in that, Make sure that you're just chatting with Student Disability Services to get your animal registered. Once you have finished the process with them, they'll send your information over to us and we may gather some more information from you as well. Also, make sure that you're not bringing any weapons, pellet guns, candles, extension cords, any speakers. You're going to be in a community area, so speakers are not really going to be very handy. And also, we have free wireless internet throughout our building, so you will not be needing a wireless router or anything like that. So yeah. Oh, and one last thing not to bring, this is actually going to be posted on our website soon, but if you were gifted or plan to buy a scooter, you are not allowed to have it in your room. So if you don't have another place to store it here in Lubbock, do not bring it to you, or do not bring it with you, because you will not be able to bring it inside the residence halls. Awesome. And roommates. So a lot of people, especially at this time of the year, are asking, who is my roommate? How can I contact them? I really want to get to know this person. Maybe we want to schedule orientation together. That way we can attend together and get to know a little bit about each other before we actually move in August. So if you're interested in knowing who your roommate is, which you all should be, you can go back to your housing application and go to your confirmation page. And it's going to list your roommate's name as well as their email address, or it's going to give you a button that says contact. So you can also just click on that and it's just going to direct you to their email address. That way you can reach out to them. If you're having some issues seeing that roommate, or maybe you're not sure, or maybe you think you may not have a roommate just yet, go ahead and reach out to us at housing@ttu.edu, which is our email address. And we're happy to double check that for you. That way if you have a roommate, we can give you their information. Or if you don't have a roommate, maybe, hey, that's a great time for you to find a roommate or somebody that you know that can also, change into your room. Awesome. So another huge question with roommates is going to be making sure that, some students want to live with somebody that they know or that they went to high school with, or maybe your cousin or brother, sister, things like that. It just depends, but we do have those questions. So if you want to live with somebody that you know, make sure that you're signing up for housing around the same time, especially right now as our availability is starting to be more limited. And if you want to live with somebody that you know, make sure that you're signing up now. That way you have more options and more availability. Awesome. And one last thing from us is going to be mail-in packages, especially around move-in time. It's going to be a really high time for us to get packages in our residence halls. You cannot ship anything to our halls prior to move-in day, so do not plan on doing that. But after move-in, once you've arrived and checked in, you can start receiving packages to your residence hall. Most mail, like USPS mail, is going to go through Tech Mail, which is just our mail system here at Texas Tech. And then once it arrives at the halls, you get an email that you have a package waiting for you at the front desk. So you'll need to present your ID or a unique code given to you by your hall to be able to check out that package. Now, letters and other smaller items like that are going to be given or put in your mailbox. So whenever you also check into your hall, you're going to be given keys or a key code to enter your mailbox at the residence hall. So just make sure that you're also checking your mailbox for some letters from your family or friends or different things like that. But we also have some mail systems here at Texas Tech. So if you actually want to ship something out to your family or friends or things like that, you can also go to the copy mail room in the Student Union building and also mail out some stuff from there. Awesome. And just some contact information for us. I know there was a lot of information in a short amount of time. So if you have more questions or you want some more in-depth information, you can always reach out to us via our phone number, which is going to be 806-742-2661. Or if it's easier and more convenient, you can also reach out to us via our email address. Or we have a lot of useful information on our website that you can also see on there.
Thank you so much, Natalie. And if you wouldn't mind, I know that Emma answered a number of questions in the chat, but I was hoping you might be able to reiterate some of those to the entire group so they could see those answers. One thing I wanted to note is that classes will begin on Thursday, August 22nd for the fall semester. So the question came up of move in and those dates being the 15th through the 18th of August, correct? And then 30 minutes, that's for everybody across those 4 days. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. And those 30 minutes are going to be for them to check in and get packages and keys. I'm sorry, not packages, your packet for you to check in and your keys. So again, don't feel like you have to move in 30 minutes. We definitely did not expect that. That's just the check-in window, but yes.
Awesome. And then there was a question about the $400 deposit and the housing deposit fee, about how that's paid and when that is paid.
Yeah, so for housing, once you have picked your room, that's when you're going to be prompted to complete that payment for the $400 deposit. If for any reason you're not able to pay it up front, or maybe you want to bill it to your student business services account in August, make sure that you contact housing at ttu.edu so that we can look into a deferral for you. A deferral is not a waiver, but it is just deferred so that you don't have to pay it at the time that you apply. That way you can finish the application. It'll be billed to your student business services account. Now, since you pick your room before you make your payment, you do have 7 days to complete that payment before that room goes back on the market. So if you really want to keep that room, make sure that you're completing that payment or reaching out to us about a deferral.
Awesome. Then a question came up, would I be able to see my residence hall room during orientation? So students staying on campus during orientation are staying in Hewlin Clement. And so they'll be able to see that. And Natalie, I'll let you list off all the different halls that look like Hewlin Clement, but you can also tour Talkington Hall as well as Horn-Knapp Hall during your orientation. Natalie, do you want to tell them exactly which kind of halls that will look like? So if you're staying on campus for orientation and or Red Raider camp, you'll be able to see a room that looks like.
Yeah. So if you are in one of our traditional built-in furniture styles, which is the style that has the furniture fixed to the walls and the floor and things like that, where you don't have flexibility to move it around, you're actually going to be staying in that hall for Red Raider orientation. So you really will get to just live in the space and will not necessarily need to tour it. But if you still feel like you need a tour, we have a showroom in the summertime to show you as well. But if you're in the movable furniture style, which is Horn-Knapp, Bledsoe, Sneed, we will have a showroom in Horn to be able to show you what that space looks like. We will also have a showroom in the Honors Hall. So if you're staying in Honors, we're happy to show you that space as well. Talkington is going to be our style for, again, Talkington and Murray. So if you're staying in those options, we can definitely show you that. We will also have the flexibility to do some tours in Gordon. Those are not going to be part of Red Raider orientation, but if you are in Gordon, there's very limited spaces in Gordon for traditional freshmen. But if you are one of those freshmen, you can reach out to housing at ttu.edu and we're happy to schedule that tour for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. Okay, another question came up. So the check-in window for those 30-minute time slots, does that allow for close-up parking during that time for them to unpack their car?
Yeah, so that will allow you to get parking in the front of the hall. And we also have what we call our red carts. So you're going to be able to check out a red cart, which is a really large cart bin where you're able to load all of your items in. So during that 30-minute window, you'll also be able to have that close parking, make sure that you're loading all of your stuff into the red cart and able to bring it up to your room or, wherever you are in your hall.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. Okay, another question. If the hall is not available on the housing website, does that mean it's full and cannot be booked? Also, is it a live system? So if students are deciding whether or not they're coming to Texas Tech, and would their space open up?
Yes, absolutely. So at Texas Tech, we are very lucky that we have a live system. So as soon as any of our staff members in our office process a cancellation, the room is going to go back on the market. So we don't hold on to those rooms. We don't set them aside for somebody who said, hey, I really want this person to get this room or anything like that. We process those cancellations and the rooms go back on the market. Now, we, like I said, we get cancellation. So if you're not very happy with the room that you want, or maybe you're really set on moving to a different hall, make sure that you're actively checking that housing portal. That way you can also change your room if your preferred hall becomes available. Our cancellation date was actually pushed from May 1st to June 1st. So if you cancel before June 1st, you're eligible to get your $400 deposit back. So that would be a really great day for those of you looking to change your room to log in and see what other rooms become available. Now, I think I missed one of your questions, Zach, so if you could repeat them for me, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, it was just about that being a live system. You answered it, Natalie.
Yes. Okay.
One
Awesome.
other question came up about paying that deposit. Are they able to pay for that deposit with their financial aid?
So it is not able to be paid by financial aid unless you get it deferred. So if you get it deferred, it's going to be billed to your tuition and fees along with your room and board. So all of those things are going to be lumped together into your student business services account bill. So then any grant scholarships, things like that can help cover those costs. But if you're trying to pay, for your deposit on the housing application today with your financial aid, that's not going to be a possibility. It does have to be deferred to the SBS account.
Great. So one of the things that came up was what is the deadline to apply for housing? I know a lot of students are still shopping around. FAFSA is still delayed. And so those decisions are somewhat delayed now. So what is the deadline to sign up for housing?
Yeah, we actually do not have a deadline to sign up for housing. Ideally before, classes start. But even then, if you change your mind really late in August, we will still allow you to move in and attend Texas Tech. But we don't have a set deadline. But the biggest thing is going to be priority for room. So if you are really set on where you want to live, or maybe you want to have more options, the sooner you sign up, the better. You can always cancel by June 1st and get your $400 deposit back, or even before August 1st, you can still cancel and not be charged anything extra, but that $400 will be forfeited. But again, the sooner the better. We do get to a point maybe in July where we are very full, so we have to start manual assignments, and you will not really get a choice then. We will just pick for you. So again, the sooner the better.
Yeah. And then that was followed up with as a media comm major, and really for any specific major, is there space available?
Yeah, so for the media and communications learning community in specific, I think that one is full at the moment. Again, we do get cancellations every day. So if you're really set on that, actively check that portal to see if something opens up. I was actually just talking to a family in Houston yesterday who was really set on the engineering learning community, and it was full. And then when we were looking at it during the event yesterday, there was some spaces. So those spaces do pop up. It's just a matter of checking. But yes, if you are not showing a specific hall or learning community on your portal when you sign up, it is full. Now, one thing, if you are showing no rooms available, not all of them are full. So please contact us and we will give you some access.
Yeah. And another question came up about if moving is the 15th through the 18th and classes don't begin until the 22nd, what are students doing? And I know Natalie and University Student Housing does a lot to help with these programs, but there's a program called Raider Welcome. There's over 150 free events going on between the 15th and the 31st of August. So I highly recommend that your students check out that calendar, check out all the events. There's academic events, there's student organizations, there's offices and departments putting on things. There's big events, there's small events. There's things like 99-cent steak night. There's Hub City Fest, Raider Roundup. There's a lot going on, and a great way to connect with campus and learn more about campus, and also just feel more comfortable and have a little bit of fun before classes begin. Another question came up about an emotional support animal, and I think you discussed this a little bit, but do you want to talk about the process for bringing an emotional support animal?
So we do get several requests for those. Now that process has to start with Student Disability Services. So their office will collect any and all necessary documentation for the animal and make sure that they go over policies and procedures with you as well, and expectations for your animal, especially living on campus. Now, once they have collected all of that information from the student, they will actually send that information over to housing, and we will review it, make sure that all of the housing forms were signed, make sure that we're answering any housing questions if there is any. But if you have a roommate, we will also need roommate approval for the emotional support animal. So keep that in mind. It's not just approved if Student Disability Services approves it. We might have to look into some room changes and things like that if your roommates have allergies, or it just depends. It is on a case-by-case basis, but that process does start with Student Disability Services.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. And we're going to go in. I know there's a few more questions coming in, but I want to cover a few more details before we wrap up. But again, if you have questions later on tonight, tomorrow, what are the hours and days that University Student Housing is available for someone to call and ask questions, Natalie?
Absolutely. So our office is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So all of those hours we are available and ready to assist you. We have some wonderful student assistants in our office who are answering those calls, those emails, and those chats, making sure that you're getting all of the relevant information. It's also really awesome that our student assistants are the ones answering those questions, because they are more in the know with what's happening around campus or what may be best for you. So it's really great that they're answering those questions, but we are available Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 via call, live chat, and also email.
Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. And again, that information is there on the slide there, 806-742-2661. You can email housing@ttu.edu. Also, a lot of great resources on their website, www.housing.ttu.edu. And one thing I want to remind you is that we have some more webinars coming up. We have information from financial aid about reviewing and accepting your offer. I know that looks a little bit different now with FAFSA this year. Also, fraternity and sorority life. Some of you might be interested in that, and you can learn about that process. We also have student engagement and success. Again, we mentioned Raider Welcome earlier. Raider Welcome is run by student engagement. They help coordinate all that, so we can learn about that. And then student business services. Later on in July, you'll receive your bill. And what does it mean? How do I interpret that? What is this housing fee and this hospitality fee? How does that all work? We're going to have student business services jump on for that. So keep an eye out on your email. Also, this information is all going to be recorded and placed on our website. So you can always come back and refer to that later on. And with that being said, we're also here to help. Red Raider Orientation, Red Raider Camp, orientation services. Email us orientation@ttu.edu. Call us 806-742-2993. Again, that's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday Central Standard Time. You can also, a lot of resources on our website, www.orientation.ttu.edu. But please follow us on social media, also at TTU Orientation, so that we can make sure that you're getting all the questions you have. All right. With that being said, I know there's still some more questions coming in. Natalie and Emma are answering those as we speak. And so, Natalie, one other question that came up is talk about if you and your roommates don't vibe. Well, first of all, this is from my experience a few years ago, but give it a chance. Give it a chance to get to know your roommates. But what does that process look like if they're just not really getting along very well in the residence halls?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have kind of two sides to that. So we have the pre-move-in side where if you are just, you're not really getting along over text, email, whatever it may be, we have that room change button on our website. So you can always go in and click on that and change your room real quick. We also have our room swap process. So if you have a friend or a family member that you want to live with, and you are really set on living with them, they can chat with their roommate, or you can chat with your roommate and see who's willing to swap rooms. That way you and that person can live together. Now we also have the post move-in time. So if you are in the halls, it is November and you are like, you know what, I just cannot deal with this person. They are unreasonable. We have very few of those students, but there is some of those students. So if you're into that situation and really don't know what to do, we do have our community advisors ready to assist you and answer your questions and kind of navigate through that process with you. But we also have our residence life coordinators, which are full-time staff members that will also help you if a room change is really needed and you really need to kind of get out of a situation.
Thanks so much, Natalie. And with it being 6:32, we're going to go ahead and shut everything down. But again, this information will be on our website, www.orientation.ttu.edu. You can also, I highly recommend reaching out to housing. They've got a lot of great students ready to answer those calls, those emails for you, and get all those questions answered. Again, thank you so much for being here tonight, and keep an eye out for our next webinar series coming up later on in May to find out more about what it means to be a Red Raider. Y'all have a great rest of your evening, and go Tech.